both of us were, I wouldn't say average, but a little above average students in academics. So the result of this is Rajiv Satish got interview calls. Both of us were MBA aspirants. We were not much into GRE and TOEFL at that time. So Rajiv Satish got calls from interview calls from IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata, and Lucknow that year, whereas I didn't get a single call. So what I'm trying to tell here is that sometimes you can go on with your regular life, you can go on continuing the things which you're doing, or maybe there's a juncture when you can sit down and rethink and say, okay, this is maybe an important place for me, this is an important juncture for me. Maybe I want to change the way I'm looking at my own work, at my own study, at my own how I want to use my own time. Not that I wasn't able to get into a good college or anything. Even I wasn't able to get, and both of us are still very much in touch. But I just want to show you how sometimes people can get serious at a particular time, and how important it is that you do it at that time. So, why am I discussing this with you? Because you all are at that very critical juncture now. And I know maybe some of you might say, "Ki, sir, Ipurvarku third year we didn't perform that well, or maybe we don't have that good percentages or academics or anything." But that's okay. You can put that behind you now. You can start doing something from now, and that is why I wanted to address all of you. The critical thing being now, the first thing which is going to come is your 3-2 examinations, and your 3-2 examinations are very very important for you. Why? What is the reason? Why are your 3-2 exams very important? Yeah, someone said backlogs. You can't have any backlogs in your 3-2 examination. That should be the focus, because you know next year your entire placement season is going to start. Some of you will be looking at going into higher education. Rest of them will be in placements. For all this, it is necessary that you have to have a very good academic record. And the least thing you can do, maybe it might be difficult to change your entire percentage for the 4 years, but definitely the least thing which you can do is try and have an all clear, get all your 3-2 exams all clear, and also try to clear any other backlogs which you have had. Because a lot of companies, they have this criteria which says that they don't want any backlogs, and they will also have a minimum percentage criteria. So now the exams which are going to come are very, very critical for you. I want all of you to forget about what has happened until now. Maybe put your heads down and try and perform very well in this examinations. And as I say, opportunities will always come. I always tell this to everyone that some people will say, "Oh, you didn't do well there. Now, how are you going to do it now?" Not necessary. You might not have done well till now, but what you can do now is what you have to focus on. And also in a lot of the upcoming season of placements, they will ask you a lot of questions of your subject also. There might be some tests where your subject information is very important. And then again, you might say, "Sir, all these 3 years we didn't study well." They might ask me from anywhere, anything. So how will I do all those 3 years? You need to think very intelligently. So now say you have a test in which they're going to ask you some questions from your engineering subjects. So I always tell this to someone. It's not very difficult to say that you want to go through your entire 4 years of engineering. You need to first understand there will only be 4 or 5 main important subjects. If you take any branch, if you are CSE or if you are EC or if you are triple E or if you are mechanical, there will be 4 or 5 main important subjects. You need to take those subjects, and out of those you need to go down and see which are the 4 or 5 important topics in each unit. If you take out each unit and make 4 or 5 topics on it, and you study those topics, it is literally you will be able to cover your entire 4 years of engineering by doing this. At least the main core of the engineering part you will be able to cover. And you will also realize that 80-90% of the questions which will come when, say, an interviewer is asking you or you're writing a test, say it's an MCP based test, most of them will come only from this 20-25% of the entire course fair. You will get 80% of the questions only from this 20%. So it's an easy hack. But the only thing is you just need to sit down and put some time in understanding what your entire 4 years of engineering is. Take out the key subjects, focus on those key subjects. In those, take out the units and take 5 or 6 key each area from each unit. And you will surprisingly see that what you have not been able to do in 4 years, you can do in 2 months. You will be able to cover all of that within 2 months, or 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, based on how much you're going to put focus on. So this is what I would suggest all of you to do. Get your academics in place. Ensure that you don't have any kind of backlogs. That is the first focus which you have to do. Secondly, any of you are in touch with your seniors? How was their entire placements which have happened? Which is the company which most of them have got placed? Any one of you has any idea? Accenture is a company in which most of them they got placed. They had a record placements of almost 180, 185 members in Accenture. So that is a very big number, and they did really, really well. And their entire batch last year, they had completely 600 students placed out of the 720, 725 odd people. 600 students were placed. That is 85% of placement. That is a tremendous record which your seniors have had. And I think you should all give a big hand for that firstly. And a lot of you might not know, last year was a bad year for placements. A lot of colleges have really struggled with their placements, and the kind of placements which we got in our college, which is your seniors, none of the colleges have got. Maybe you can just count on your fingers in the entire Telangana some colleges which have got that kind of placements, but none of them have got any placements last year, and their batch was really, really good. But if you compare with 23 batch, that is your super seniors, the 23 batch had better placements when compared to 24 batch. That was because of a complete slowdown in the IT market. There was a slowdown in a lot of companies, like Infosys did not come last year. TCS, which used to take 100 students every year, last year it had only 14 or 15 students being placed. But in spite of that, they did very, very well. So that is the key. Now, what is going to happen with your batch is the interesting part. How is your batch going to fare? In fact, I have very high hopes from this batch. The reason being that your batch has got the maximum amount of training than any other batch. That was what I was discussing with Aditya also. So since the first year, you had training, which no other batch has had. All the batches usually start training when they come to second year, or maximum of the training comes into the third year. But yours is the first batch which has had verbal and C training right from first year, and they've gone into in second year Java, Python, everything they have covered in all the years. We have this wonderful training team which is there, which again is a difference between this college and many other colleges. None of them have in-house trainers. You go to any college and find out how they're getting trained. They get trained through an agency from outside, maybe a Coin or a Face. These are all popular agencies which come and teach. But ours is one of those few colleges which has an entire in-house team where they come and they train you, so it's easier for you. So yours is one of the first batch which has had training right from first year, and you've had mock interviews also at a very early stage, and maybe you will have more mock interviews once you go into the final year, when the companies are coming up. Similar kind of mock interviews will be given to you. So I should say this is one of the most trained batch. So I am expecting a lot out of this. But what is the outlook of your batch? Like we had a indication that the 24 batch, which is your seniors, there is a little bit of a slowdown. What is the outlook for the 25 batch? Is it going to be better than the 24 batch, or is it going to be worse than the 24 batch? Better than a 24 batch? Okay, how many of you say that the outlook is better for the 24 batch? Better than the 24 batch? Very few hands. Half hands are there. Okay, a lot of them are. How many of you say that it is going to be worse than the 24 batch? Some hands are there, but very few. Okay, very interesting. So now we are not in the job of trying to forecast things. Always remember that. We are only going to try and give our best at every point of time. There is a kind of a global recession coming. That is what a lot of people are saying. If you are very much into current affairs and you are a little bit into general knowledge, you would have noticed what has been happening over the past 1 week or 10 days in the global markets. Anyone is aware what's happening in the global markets? Sorry, someone? What is it? Yeah, okay, a lot of stock markets are crashing around. Where did it start off? Which country started off? Yeah, so it started off with Japan actually. And do you know what happened in Japan? Do you know what they did? Some change in something. What did they do a change in? Which triggered this entire fall? Some general knowledge. Come on, I want some general knowledge. Interest rate. Who said interest rate? Someone said interest rate. Very good, nice. Lift your hand properly, yeah, that's a good thing. Very good. So they changed the interest rate in Japan. You know what is the interest rate means? It's like, say, if I want to take a loan, if in India you have to take a loan, it will cost you 7 to 8% interest rate, or 9% or 10%. In US, it might cost around 5 to 6%. You know how much it is in Japan? It is around 0.5% or 1%. So what has been happening in Japan, just to give an information about it, everyone takes a loan in Japan for 1% and they have been investing in other countries. So it's like they have been investing in, say, US or UK or say any other country where they get 6% or 7% even in a fixed deposit. In some of those countries, in fixed deposits, you can get 5%, 6%. So he's just taking a loan from here for 1% and he's giving 5% there. So a 4% net he's getting every day, every year a profit, which is an amazing thing. You know how banks make money, right? Banks make money by taking fixed deposit from you and giving you out to a loan to someone else. So he gives you fixed deposit 6% and he gives it out to a loan for 8 or 9%. So that 2.5% or 3% difference is what is his profit. And this is upon lakhs of crores of rupees. So he makes a lot of money, the bank. So same thing a lot of people have been doing from the Japan government. They've been taking money and they've been investing somewhere. So why suddenly this crash happened? Suddenly Japan said, I want to increase my interest rate. Whatever interest rate he was giving below, he was giving some 0.5 or 0.75 or 1%. He said suddenly I'll increase it, which suddenly led to this huge crash. In fact, at one point of time in Japan, there was a negative interest rate. You know what a negative interest rate means? Which means if you put your money in a fixed deposit, he will give back less after 1 year. Which means he's trying to say, I don't want you to save any money, don't put it in the bank, just go and spend. That is what the government is saying. He wants you to go out and spend, and that will help boost the economy. So in that situation, some countries are, and Japan is one of them. So suddenly, once he raised the interest rate, there was a huge crash there. And once there was a crash there, people started pulling out from the US stock market. A lot of Japanese people started investing there. They wanted to pull it out, and this is cascaded into a kind of a effect which is connected. So there could be a recession, is what people say, but we don't know for sure. But what we feel now, answering to that question, how is the 25th batch going to be, 25 batch going to be against 24 batch? Maybe it is not going to have much of an effect on the Indian IT market. So there is a possibility that we should have a slightly better year than what we have had last year. Maybe a TCS should be able to take more than 14 people at least, what they have taken last year. They have taken only 14 or 15 people. We're assuming they are going to take more than that. We're going to assume that Infosys might come this year and they might take some placements. They have not come for the last 2 years. Accenture is going to come for sure. They're going to come next month in September. So there are two or three companies who have confirmed that they are going to come in September. So Accenture is one, Global Logic is one, and I think Informatica also might come. So all these companies have lined up for September. The only question now is how much all of you are geared up. So that is the big question. So, what I want to drive into your mind right now is this juncture is very critical. First, you're going to have your 3-2 examinations. Try to perform very well in that. Once you finish them, put your entire focus. If there is any time, this is the time in your engineering. You need to pull up your socks, get ready, and get ready to face these entire challenges which are there. We are there at every point to help you. We will try to make whatever is possible easier for you so that you can crack these tests, so that you can crack these exams. And a lot of them have strong verbal, some of them will have some of your core subjects. So that is why you need to focus on all of these also. And not only for the CSE students, for the core branches students like say mechanical or EEE, we are looking at some kind of technologies which will help you better, so that you can be trained in them. Like for example, for EC students, maybe something on embedded systems, or for EEE and EIE students, something based on industrial automation. That is what they are all planning out. Your TMP team is planning out something on those. So once you have all these with you, it will become easier. That is what I'm saying. It is our job to try and make it as easy as possible for you. But at the end of the day, they say, na, you can only get the horse to the lake. The horse will ultimately have to drink the water, or you can only take him up to the door. He will have to open the door. In that sense, that is the minimum which I am expecting from all of you, that you will be able to push yourselves. As I said, pull up your socks, tie your lace, and be ready for what is going to come from September. All the companies which are going to come, there will be a list of 20-25 companies which are going to come from September, October, November, December, all the next 5-6 months. So if you are able to make those slight changes, if you are able to remember this example which I have given of Rajiv Satyesh and how he made those slight changes, it is not that you have to completely go into more. It is just that small change where you're changing an hour in a day and you're taking out that hour which you are used to allocate for some other things and you are going to put it into this. That 1 hour per day is going to make a huge difference. That 1.5 hour per day, if you're able to focus, it's going to make a huge difference in your complete engineering output. So that is what I wanted all of you to focus. And as I said, your seniors had done a very good job in terms of doing their entire placements. Hopefully, you all will also follow suit. And in fact, over the next period of year for your batch, there is also a foreign affairs cell which is coming up, which we are working on. So, which means that anyone who wants to go to higher education also, it is very easy process where you can completely choose your universities. You can choose what or the entire visa process. Everything can be done here at the college level itself. So we are focusing on opening up a foreign affairs cell. So these are all the updates which are there from my side. These three companies, as I said, there is Accenture, there is Global Logic, and there is Informatica, which are all probably are going to come in September itself, which is immediately after your exams. So all of you need to be focused and ensure that you are prepared for these. And Accenture is going to have good numbers like last time. And if you are able to prepare well for it, it could be possible that in September itself, half of you are placed. And that is That is the easiest thing to have a big placement season which is there for 6 7 months, and just focus on the first company, get get your job in the first month itself, and then you have a lot of time for you to focus on many other things which are there. So try to focus on that opportunity which is provided from the college, and I'm sure that if not Accenture, if whatever I have said over the last 20 25 minutes, if at least 30 40% of it has registered well with you, I'm sure that if not Accenture, most of you should get into Accenture. If not Accenture, there will be at least 20 25 companies, and at the end of the next 6 months, I'm sure all of you will go out with flying colors. All of you will get placements. The out of, as I said last year, out of 720, 600 are the people who got placed. The rest 80 to 100 people are also people who are not very interested in placements, or they are completely students who are not into studies, who are completely hopeless candidates. But if you are able to put a reasonable effort, it's I'm not asking much. If you are out of 700 people, I'm asking you to be in the top 600. That itself is the easy part. I'm not saying out of 700 you have to be in the top 50. Try to be in the top 5, 500, 550. You will all get a job. But focus on getting a very good job. That's my point. Try to focus on getting into the good companies like, say, Deloitte, or an Informatica, or a Global Logic. Those are the companies which are good. Okay, all of you understood then? So all of you are geared up for the next 6 to 8 months. That is the most critical part of your entire 4 years. All of you are geared up for it. So it's very easy, no? I'm giving you an easy solution. Everyone will say, oh, you have to focus right from first year to final year. I'm not even saying that. I am just saying for the next 6 to 8 months, put a lot of focus. And if you are for getting into Accenture, you just need to put a focus for the next 1 month only. Once you get into Accenture, then rest of it, everything gets into place. But if you're not able to get into it, the next 6 months, put a lot of focus, and then I'm sure all of you will pass out with flying colors. You will have good marks. You will have no backlogs, and at the same time, you will have a wonderful job in hand. Okay? Thank you very much. కింద వచ్చిందా కనుక్కున్నారా? ఓకే ఓకే, సీ యూ. ఓ మైక్ ఉందా?
सर साले कट साले कट
మళ్ళీ కట్ చేస్తే
మొత్తం సాలే కట్ అయిపోయిందా సార్ మైక్ వేసుకోకపోతుంది సార్. వేస్తుందా సార్? వేస్తుందిగా మైక్ పని చేస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ పెట్టినా వచ్చేసి మైక్